Probably 2 years ago now, we realized that there's something not quite right in the face of leadership in banking, and women were leaving. So some of our most senior transactors were leaving, and we couldn't quite figure out what the issue was. It's because women come to banking, coming out of schools, we have amazing girls, top students. Coming out of varsities, we have amazing girls, top students. They come here, our junior leadership, equal men and women, and then something goes wrong. And we realized we actually need to do something about it. And a couple of us were sitting one day going, is it just us having these difficult conversations? Is it just us that thinks that doesn't feel like this is a place for women necessarily? And so we got a whole bunch of senior women together, some of our top transactors, some of our top deal makers, some of our top client people, and we said to them, is it just us, or are you feeling the same? And that half an hour coffee, 2 hours later, we decided to do something about it, and we decided to focus on women. And our goal was really to see if we could get more women in leadership in banking, not just in RMB. That's how Athena was born. Well, when we started this idea, this concept, this conversation, we knew that we had to give it a brand to make it come alive. And we started throwing names around. And when we were throwing names around, a lot of them were quite abstract, and we sort of settled on mythology. And when we looked up Athena, there was something quite serendipitous about her and what she stood for. First of all, that she was born from man, this woman born from man and us being in a man's world, this woman that represented mathematics and community and peace, but she was a goddess of war, so she had all this power, that she represented male and female, and that for us just resonated. And when we looked at what Athena stood for and what our leadership brand stood for in RMB, there was a massive overlap. So inspiration was one. And so we settled on Athena. Post that, there's so much about her in the gender space. So Adriana Huffington in her book actually writes about Athena and what Athena stood for. And we were like, okay, we're onto the right thing now. And so she was born. And it's been quite incredible having Athena as a brand, because it gives you something that you can hook to talk about. When we came up with the idea of a gender initiative for the bank, we knew we didn't want it to be a program or something where we wanted to make women feel like they had to be more trained than men or whatever it was. We knew it had to be a conversation for men and for women, for all of us. It's a humanity conversation about creating a space where everyone can thrive. But there's a piece of it that has a strong bias element. So the cultural bias that exists around us, the bias that each of us has, but also the bias we have as women, the noises in our head, the voices, the rubbish we tell ourselves. And so besides having this conversation, and lots of conversations about bias, conversations about the world we want for our children, and just creating a space where everyone can talk about this bit. How do we make RMB a place where men and women can thrive, where anyone can thrive? We've also created an actual program, which we've called Lotus. Lotus being this beautiful flower that thrives in a little bit of murky, for women to just figure out what are these noises in our heads, what are the tools that we can harness to help us just survive in this competitive world of banking. It's bizarre. It shouldn't be male-dominated. It's an industry that's based on IP. It's based on your brain, and just for that reason, it should not be male-oriented. It should be very appealing to women. And we think part of the problem is media. You go and watch The Wolf of Wall Street, not so appealing to come to banking, firstly. Second of all, it's competitive, and it's got this reputation of being competitive. But that shouldn't be off-putting either. We love competing. Girls love competing just as much as men. So I'm not too sure why that competitive element comes across as a negative when we talk about banking. And we're just trying to say to women, come, see. You'll see it's a fun place to be, and it's a fun place to work if you understand how to thrive here. And we're trying to make our bank a place where it's much easier to thrive as a woman. Because there are subtle nuances when men are in leadership that they just don't really understand. I wish I knew, because then I could convince them to come. But we think it's a lot of media. We think it's this competition thing. We think it's the idea that this is a man's world. And when you look up in investment banking globally, you see men. It's not hell of appealing as a woman when you look up and you see people that don't look like you. It's the same as any diversity conversation. You want to look up and think there are people there that get me. And we're hoping that soon we'll be there in banking. We're seeing more and more women in senior leadership, even in our own bank. And we're hoping that as that grows, more women will be attracted to this amazing industry. It's a great place to be.